If you believe a better world starts from within, you're in the right place. Welcome to Hold the Light. I'm Lori Gunning-Grossman, founder of Hold the Light Collective. This is a special series, a guided exploration of the Freedom Transmissions, a spiritual book about building a strong inner foundation so you can show up more authentically in your life and in the world. Let's begin. The Power of Perception, pages 197 through 209. This is a chapter about the energy of moving mountains, and it's summed up just like this: love moves mountains. So here we're going to explore how our perception of mountains, the things in our lives that feel like challenges or issues, both internally and externally, either keeps us stuck or allows us to move forward. Depending on who's looking at them, mountains could be related to health, finances, relationships, work, and other things that feel like a big figurative mountain to climb. The question, it's never about the mountain itself, but it's about the way we see it, the way we engage with it, and whether we're willing to align with the divine, who moves all things through love. We're being asked to bring our awareness to this since it affects all of us, individually and collectively, both spiritually and physically. So we're going to discuss three core themes: the power of perception in shaping our reality, the role of burdens and attachments in creating unnecessary mountains, and how divine love, not force or control, is the key to moving what seems immovable. We will also talk about faith and how true transformation occurs when we stop resisting what is and start seeing through the eyes of love. This is the power of perception. So why is it important for us to take a look at how we see and experience mountains? Well, because it gives us another opportunity to unstitch from anything that keeps us bound to fear, doubt, or resistance. Here, we learn that mountains are not obstacles placed in our way to defeat us. We're invited to look at them as invitations to shift and to grow and to rise. The teachings tell us that the slightest little hill can feel like a mountain when you're carrying the density of crosses and burdens such as shame, control, impatience, despair, or anger. And when we carry the energy of these burdens, they can distort how we see things. So the smallest hill can feel like an insurmountable peak. The slightest challenge can feel impossible. It's our perception that dictates the size of our mountains. So how to move these mountains? Well, it doesn't come from our ego or how we think. We learn that our spirit and soul possess the divine magic to move mountains. When we rely on our spirit and soul, suddenly the mountain no longer feels unscalable, but it becomes part of the journey, something to witness, to navigate, or to dissolve in co-creation with the divine. Think about how many times we've all probably created mountains that don't even exist because we were living in the past or worrying about the future. When we aren't in present moment awareness, it's so easy to do this, especially when we are in an imbalance of separation, expectation, or focusing on an outcome. In these moments, we tend to believe that scaling a mountain or trying to resolve it will require so much work. And so we magnify what might have been just a mere stepping stone into an overwhelming peak. So the question we need to ask ourselves as a way to help ourselves is, where's my focus? Is it in the present moment or is it in the past or future? Do we see the mountain as a test or burden or as an opportunity and opening? When we're fixated on how difficult the mountain may be to scale, procrastination can come into play, right? So instead of addressing a mountain while it's still small, like resolving a health issue, organizing finances, dealing with a relationship issue, or just cleaning out the garage, our mind tells us, not today, maybe later. I have so many other things to do. I think I will just put it on hold. And with every delay, the mountain grows. What might have been a small hill becomes this imposing summit only because we keep building upon it with avoidance or fear. Sometimes we perceive struggles where there really is only an opportunity to choose differently. So, bringing presence into the now allows us to discern what truly needs our attention. Some mountains are meant to be moved. Others are simply meant to be seen, to remind us of our path, to give us perspective. Not every challenge requires a battle. Some challenges require surrender, trust, and simply the willingness to see differently. Consciousness allows us to witness the mountain without judgment. We learn that bringing consciousness to clear the smaller mountains and areas of dry brush is the simplest, most liberating path to addressing the larger, which is why what is before you now and drawing your awareness to the now, even if inconvenient or painful, is so important. Allowing ourselves a kindness of embracing what our souls are continuously drawing our awareness to makes it easier to unstitch and unbraid from issues that hinder our path to peace and serve us through joy. Consciousness allows us to recognize whether this is a mountain of our own making, one built from fear, attachment, or expectation, or whether it is a natural part of our unfolding journey. All mountains were created by love and can be leveled by love. We learn this here. They can be scaled and moved through love. We learn that when we truly become conscious that we are love, our love has the power to create beautiful mountains as well as to shift, move, or transform others that seem just a little bit scary and dark. So the Freedom Transmissions teaches us that love does not see mountains as problems. Love created mountains. Love moves mountains. This is part of the fabric of creation. What happens when we perceive our life through a lens of love? Well, then mountains shift. They no longer loom over us as something to be conquered, but they become part of our journey of transformation. When we stop seeing them as punishments or barriers and start seeing them as guides, as invitations to connect deeper with faith, everything changes. This is what happens when we bring more light and consciousness into our being. It can feel like someone turned on the lights after we've been sitting in the dark. As it says in the book, suddenly we begin to see a truth so obvious that somehow for years we could not uncover or see it before. But if the lights turn on and you're still in fear, what emerges is regret, embarrassment, and even shame. And then you might find yourself saying things like, why did I not see this before? Or how and when did this relationship that once felt like love start to feel like a mountain is between us, like a block and disconnect? Has it been there all these years? So Yeshua teaches us that truth evolves as love evolves, and to never wallow in the should-haves and could-haves when the truth of a love knot is revealed. Making amends to ourselves and others can occur if necessary in due time. But before you spring into action, rejoice when any truth is revealed. This is what we learn, for it means that love is growing within you. See what there is to see without attaching to solutions and outcomes. We come to understand that the greatest mountains we face are often the ones within, right? The silent fears, the unspoken doubts, the deep-seated wounds we avoid looking at. But when a mountain rises within us, it means that something is ready to shift. The unconscious is becoming conscious. The unseen is being revealed. If you choose to see it this way, this is a cause for celebration. And if your ego tells you it still doesn't know what to do, don't worry. Your soul knows what to do. It knows how to move mountains, not with force, but with love. So we're being called to examine our own personal mountains, the ones we refuse to release, the burdens we stitch to into our identity, believing that they define us. But here is the question. Do we own the mountains, or do they own us? If we're unwilling to let go of the weight we carry, old wounds, outdated beliefs, false identities, then we are the ones keeping the mountains standing. We reinforce them with our own resistance. But the moment we choose to release, to surrender, and to trust, there's a movement in an area that once felt immovable. And what's beautiful to realize is that the more we move deeper into consciousness, the mountain of separation between us and the divine begins to erode. And as we teach ourselves to believe less of the external and to see more through the soul eye, we can start to bring more excitement into the process of moving mountains. Instead of seeing things as work or setbacks, we can find joy through our own excavation and dismantling of whatever holds us back from love. We just need to remember that this is all a process. Mountains take time to form, and they can take time to dissolve. And here's a little something helpful to remember. Invite Yeshua into your process. We learn in the book that if we are authentic to our inner process, including the grief and surrender that comes in releasing all the pain that separation has brought to us, Yeshua will move what needs to be moved in the external. That is a promise he can make to dimensions and levels our mind or eyes cannot perceive. To bring this level of honesty into our lives as we face our mountains, we are also being asked to look at this offering as a call for us to be fully seen as our true selves. The book reads, all of those mountains that we have built up, all of the armor that we hide behind to give up the illusion that we're thriving, happy, and have it all together, but that makes us feel fraudulent and keeps us alone, it is armor we needed until we were ready and strong enough to accept and look at the truth, which may be that we were scared, we did not feel safe, and we were told that we were not good enough. We come to discover that courage comes through admitting that we can no longer live with armor. This happens through the evolution of our consciousness. As Yeshua says, it is far more courageous than seemingly having it all together. Yeshua's view of our having it all together is more about being our whole selves without the armor and not trying so very, very hard to appear that we have it all together to the external world. As he says, being naked in our whole self is a rarity within this world that hopefully will become more of the norm in times to come. The one thing that we're all together in is the fact that none of us have it all together. So let's bring in a little more compassion and humility for ourselves and respect those who do not pretend. We're being asked to embody more honesty, love, and presence. And his wish for us? It's to begin replacing the sadly rewarded distortion of having it all together with allowing yourself to come together and to rest in the faith that when we move deeper into wholeness, everything's coming together, no matter the perceived mountain. Yeshua says that he has a hunch that together we can move all the other mountains in the world through love. So, as we've learned, some mountains are meant to be witnessed, some are meant to be released, and some are simply reminders that we're in a season of transformation. It is love that creates mountains and love that moves them. It's love that reveals what is real and love removes what is not. When the mind says, this is too much, love says, watch me move. When the mind says, I don't know how, love says, I've already made the way. And when the mind says, I will wait, love says, now. So, what do you wish to be powered by? If we choose to let fear and our egos dictate how we perceive things, we'll be owned by the mountains in our lives. If we choose to align with love, mountains will move. And we move with them, entering a new space of freedom and, of course, peace. As Yeshua says, shift the perception, love the mountain, and it will move. The mountain is not there to burden you. With faith, which is the recognition of our divinity, we've come to learn that anything can move. No matter how tall the mountain, if we choose to do so, we can rest in the deep soul knowing that everything is going to be all right. Here's your focus until the next episode. At the end of this chapter, Yeshua shares that this pathway to peace that we're all on is a love story, that each of us is a moving mountain. And so he poses a few questions for us to consider. Number 1, what is it that within yourself you have the power to move, or that you feel you need to move? And number 2, what do you need from Yeshua in order to move it? He shares to write about it, and please be clear, for he will reveal the path to fulfillment of those needs and bring you what you need to support your movement of it. Read or reread Clarity, found in Part 2 of the Freedom Transmissions under Transmission 4, Moving Mountains. Since this one is a longer chapter, I am breaking it up into 2 episodes, so read pages 210 through 218. There is a meditation and writing exercises that start on page 217. The recorded meditation can be found in the audiobook at the 21-minute, 29-second mark in the first part of the chapter. And in the audiobook, listen to Clarity found under Transmission 4, Moving Mountains, up until the first meditation and the writing exercises. All links and information are in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Keep holding the light. If this series is resonating with you, I'd love to stay connected. Visit holdalightcollective.com to sign up for my weekly newsletter, Build the Light. It's where I share good news for the soul, plus my latest events and offerings. All links are in the show notes. And if this podcast has meant something to you, the most generous thing you can do is share it with someone. Hold the Light is produced by me, Lori Gunning-Grossman, with additional producing and sound design by Jonathan Grossman, who also wrote our original theme music. Until next time, keep holding the light.